Welcome back. In recent days, I've done a few puzzles by theme over on chess.com, but as we saw in especially the last video, some of the themes are very incorrectly applied on chess.com, so I decided to today try to do some puzzles by theme on Lichess. There are definitely some things I need to work on, and hopefully you will get something out of this too. Here is a page attached to the puzzle dashboard on Lichess. If you go to puzzles at top and drop down to puzzle dashboard, you'll get this left menu here, and one of the things you can click on is improvement areas, and it'll show you some things that you have, themes that you've seen in your puzzles on Lichess recently and how well you've done on them. For example, here this says, I think my worst one is fork, which says 72%. If I scroll down, that looks to be the worst one. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I go to puzzle themes. And here is the puzzle themes page on Lichess, where you can scroll down and choose different phases of the game. You can choose by game opening, and there is an option to do more. And then there's different motifs and ideas. And fork is one of those. And it says there's 468,000 puzzles with fork as the theme. So because that other page on my improvement areas said I needed to work on them, I'm just going to click on fork here and do a few of these puzzles, and then we'll come back here. All right, hopefully I won't do too poorly. Okay, as you can see on the left, my current puzzle rating on Lichess is 2055. So fairly close to my puzzle rating on chess.com, within 50 points. Okay, I'm playing with the black pieces. This is from a blitz game, it says, but I'm going to try to ignore that. Okay, sorry, I get distracted by all those things around the side. I do have a couple of checks in this position, both of those, for example, but I have to remember that the theme was fork, so I'm going to try to keep that in mind. Now, I do know that whenever I check the king, in whichever one of these areas that I check the king, I will be opening this attack here, my bishop pointed at their bishop, but also their bishop pointed at mine. So I want to keep that in mind. This play here, moving my knight to e2 check, it forks three pieces. It forks their rook, their king, and their bishop. My guess is they're going to have to move out of check because they won't be able to capture my checking piece. Should we assume that they're going to come toward my knight like this? Sorry, right here. I'm going to assume they're not going to go there because then I could capture their bishop protected by my knight, and that would be check again. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's the first move because A, it is a fork, and B, it exposes the attack on the bishop. If they did come toward my knight, then I could just take the bishop and I would be protected by my bishop. So let's try that. Okay, that was correct, and it did come toward my knight. But again, I think I should just take this bishop. And I say that because if I take their bishop with my bishop, they're going to get my knight. But if I take their bishop with my knight, it's protected and it's attacking their rook. I'm going to guess that's the correct move here. Okay, it was. All right, let's click the thumbs up button here behind my camera view and go to the next one. And over at the left, you can see that our theme is still forks. I do have a couple of checks in this position. One is with my knight here attacking the king, which is a fork on their rook and their king. But I think there, can't they just capture it with their pawn? And then I'm down a piece because right now we're fairly even on material. Also, they have a pawn that's getting very close to promotion and their rook's down there. So I need to do something to their king here or take out another major piece. Otherwise, they're going to promote and I'm going to have to capture it. And then they're going to get my rook with their rook and I'm going to be in check. And they're going to win this pawn in the process. I can't check over here on f5 because their other pawn is guarding that square. I wouldn't be able to capture this pawn because their queen is still guarding it. I wouldn't be able to check here because that pawn is still guarding g6. Now this pawn wouldn't be protected anymore by that pawn. If I, you know what I'm saying, if I checked here on f6 with my knight and they took, the pawn right in front of the king would not be protected anymore. Well, yeah, the king would still be protecting it, so it's not like I could just take it at that point. Okay, this one looks just a little harder. I could take that now with my queen, and if they took back, then I could check here with my knight, and my rook would be protecting this entire file, the entire G file. So the king would only have two choices. No, the king would only have one choice, to move to the back rank, and then that would be mate. Wait, is that right? If I take this pawn first, queen captures on h6, it's guarded by the knight. So there's only two legal moves. One is for the king to move back, which I don't think is a good idea. Because if the king moved back, I don't know, that might be a good idea. If the king moved back, I would check here with my knight. That pawn then on the g pawn would be pinned by my rook, so it couldn't capture my knight. And the king couldn't move over to h8 because my queen is sitting right there on h6. So that would be mate. So I think they would definitely take back with the pawn. But then when I check here, nothing can capture that knight. The king can't come to the g-file because of my rook back here. So the king would have to go into the corner. Couldn't come forward because their own pawn is there. Once it went back in the corner, I would put my rook on g8 and that would be mate. So I'm going to take that pawn first. That might not be right, but that looks like what I've figured out. Okay, I think we got it, and this should be checkmate. Oh, wow. Well, that one took me a little while because I was very hesitant to take that h-pawn, but it worked. Okay, let's do one more fork. It seems like I am getting better at this since the last time I went here. All right, the queen has put me in check. Okay, well, I have to either get out of check or block that check. I don't think we should block with the rook because their rook is down there and would check me again, and I would then I would have to move out, and I just would have lost my rook. Or I would have to take it with my queen, and then I would have just lost my queen and a rook for a rook. And I would still be in check, and I would have to move out. So why don't I move out first? What happens if I move out of check first to b7? That seems reasonable. Then they could take this rook, but they wouldn't because then that exposes my attack on their queen with my other rook. So they would actually, I think they would want to move their rook away. Yeah, I think I need to move out of check here, but is that a fork? I don't know that it's a fork, but it's a double attack. Because right now, I am attacking their rook. And once I move my king out of the way, I would be attacking their queen too. So where would they go at that point? Would they, if they moved their queen, I guess they could put their queen back here to guard that rook. I don't know if I would still take it or not. Oh, I'm also attacking this rook. So if I move my queen out of check here, that's a triple attack. If I move my king out of check that way, rather than blocking. Because I can block multiple ways. But I think I should just step out of check. Because of how many all their pieces would be under attack at that point, except their knight. I'm guessing that once I move out of check here to b7, they're going to take this rook. Oh yeah, they would, because then if I took their queen, they would take my queen. Okay. So I think that's what they'll do. If I move out of check, they will take this rook with their back rank rook. But then I will take it with my queen. Oh no, I will take it then with my knight and be forking those two pieces. Okay. Wait. If I take there, they take my queen. So I should take there with my queen and let him have my knight. That's what I think. I think I should take the rook. Okay, I got it. Wow. Okay, that one was a little hard for me. Okay, well, I did okay there. And these were, as you saw, all correctly themed so far. Let's go to Puzzles menu at the top, go to Puzzle Dashboard. And here you will see on the left Puzzle Themes. So I'm going to click that. We're going to scroll down. I don't remember what else it said I was weak on. That's one place where the chess.com Puzzle by Themes page was better because right there on the list of themes, it showed you what your score was. What was one of the ones I was weak on over there? There was a Z word, right? The German Z word. Is that Z word over here? No, there's Zugzwang. That wasn't the one. It was like Zwischenchug or something. Is that even over here? Wait, that's the one that we looked up that meant in-between move. Is there something here that's like that? No, I don't see anything here that says in-between move or that other Z word. Lots of mates. Wait. Intermezzo. It says instead of playing the expected move, first interpose another move. Okay, also known as, there's that German word. So I'm going to try that one. I think I did okay on this theme on chess.com, but might as well try it here. And also, intermezzo seems much easier to pronounce than that German word. Although I might be mispronouncing that one too. There's an expected move, which is probably that, but there's an in-between move. What would the in-between move be? There's a check. I'm going to ignore the in-between part and just see what my options are. I have a check on d5, but I think they would just capture it with their queen. Do I have any other checks? There is this check, but that doesn't look good. I might as well follow it out. I think the king would capture on g7, and then the only follow-up check I would have. Oh, wait. That would be my only follow-up check in that position, but maybe I should do that now. Let's see. If I play bishop to h6 now, I'm threatening mate. But then they would take my queen. They would capture my queen there on g4, and then I would assume capture back with the pawn. What other options do I have here? What if I just took their queen? I assume they would take back with the knight on d4. None of this is looking really good to me right now. Do I have any captures? There is the bishop capturing the knight, which that's the thing that's protecting their queen. If I capture that, then I think they'll take my queen, because when I capture back, then they can take my bishop. But maybe there'll be an in-between move there, so let's look for that. I don't think they would capture back right then, because then I could win their queen and it would not be defended by anything. If I capture the knight on c6, I think they would capture my queen. Then I would have the in-between move of bringing my bishop back for check and then take their queen, so I would have gone up a piece. Let's try that. Then take their queen. Okay, so I do understand the concept of in-between moves, and in many cases it's a check. So instead of just trading the bishop for the bishop and the queen for the knight and the queen, we just picked up the knight for free and traded queens because we had a check in the middle. Okay, I'm going to click one more or maybe two more of those and see what happens. I do have a couple of checks in this position. One is obviously to capture the pawn on h7, but I don't think there's any benefit to that because they would just take it. There was also the check on h4, but in that case, I think their queen would just take my queen for free. Yes, I would be able to pick up the bishop after that, but I would have lost a queen for a bishop, and that doesn't make any sense. Any other checks? I do have the check right now of capturing the bishop on d2. I think they would have to move down, right, because they can't go back because my queen's cutting off that square. Their own pieces are in the way here, and of course my bishop would be taking those two squares. They could block with the knight. I don't think they would take with the queen. I don't know. They might because my queen is still hanging. So if I did that and they took with the queen, thinking that when I captured back they would get my queen, then I would check over here, and when they moved out of check, then I would win their queen with my rook. But that so far looks to me like the most promising move. Bishop captures on g2, a d2 check, instead of moving my queen out of danger, because my queen is under attack right now. But that would be one way to get my queen out of danger, is to check there, because again, they would either have to move the king forward. Okay, I have to take into account, though, what if they moved the king forward? If they moved the king forward, I would have mate right there. So they wouldn't move the king forward. Okay, so that's looking really promising. Bishop captures d2, check. So they have to either block with the knight here or here, which gets my queen out of danger, or they have to capture with their queen, in which case I would check down here with my queen and then win theirs. If they block with the knight here, however, I think I could go ahead and take it with my bishop, and that would be check again, and that would also be hitting their queen and their king at the same time, and my queen is protecting it. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that was correct, and they did take with their queen. Okay, well, we accounted for this. I will come down here with my queen to get it out of danger from the knight. They'll have to go there, and then I'll win their queen. Pretty sure. Because I'm pretty sure I don't want to check here on e3 where they could just take me. So let's go here. Okay, and then I win their queen. Okay, that's two of those. Okay, there's the scores down at the bottom here. Let's do one more of those, and then I will go back and find a different theme. This is a little complex. I'm playing with the white pieces. I can take their queen right now, but my knight is pinned by their bishop, and so then they would get my queen. So perhaps there's something in between, which again is the whole theme here. Is there something after that? After I take their queen on d4, and let's assume they would take my queen. There's not a check here or here. I could attack their bishop there, so I might end up going up an extra piece there. But wait, if I did that, and then I did that, wouldn't they then just bring their bishop back? Because if I took that bishop, then they could take back with their knight. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, so this is really complicated. Then I would take this knight. Nice. And that way, if they escaped with the bishop, I would take there. Okay, I think that's it. I think I take the queen on d4. I assume they would take mine, but then I take this knight And even if they take my queen back, there's nothing here for that bishop to point at, and I take back here. I think I go up a piece that way. Let's see. Okay, I was right so far. I think it has to be taking this knight, because then if they save this bishop, I get that one. And if they capture back here, I get this one. And I'll be up a piece, I think. And then we just take that one. Did I get it? Oh, okay. It took a second for the points to show up there. Okay. Well, I got 3 of those. And I have a few minutes left, so I'm going to go back to puzzles, puzzle dashboard, puzzles by theme. And I think sacrifice was another one that I was having trouble with over on the other site. That is one of the themes here, sacrifice? Not specific enough. Okay, well, let's click sacrifice and see if I can solve 1 or 2 of these. Okay, we're relatively even on material here as far as pieces go. I'm not going to count on the pawn. Well, there is the sacrifice of the knight here. Knight to f6 check would be sacrificing the knight. I assume that but then what I would take back, and I would be threatening a mate over here. I think they would take back with. I think they would take with the pawn, because if not, I would end up winning the bishop after they moved out of check. And then I think I take back with my g pawn. But then it's the other player's turn, and I'd be wanting to bring my queen over here, threatening a mate on g7, but I'm a turn down at that point. So is there something I should do first? That knight sacrifice isn't looking quite as tasty as I thought, because I would still be 2 moves away from mate at that point. Or maybe they want to go here, threatening a queen trade and getting a passed pawn. But at least if I did this, if I did this little sacrifice here and they take back and I take back, that way if they try this, I can get my queen out. So it's more of a clearance sacrifice, getting that pawn out of the way. So I'm going to try that. That was correct. Well, if that was correct, then I think my follow-up move has to be correct as well, because the idea was to get my pawn out of the way, to get my queen over there. I didn't expect that. Think I have to take it, don't I? Their queen is cutting off these squares, and their bishop's cutting off those squares. I mean, I could move over to the h-file, or I could move up, or I could just take it. How bad is it if I just take? It's not that bad, is it? Apparently it is that bad. It had to be there for some reason. Well then wait, why would they do that though? Okay, I'm going to look at the analysis board after here, because that doesn't make any sense. They move right into my line of fire here, where now I'll win the bishop. No, I won't win the bishop. What? My. Okay, well, I don't understand anything about chess. Apparently there was something really bad about me taking this bishop here, and there's something really bad about me taking it here. So if I should check again, and they moved out of check, yeah, which is what I thought they would do. And now I don't have a follow-up check, so now I take the bishop, right? Why was it important that I take the bishop there? Oh, because they were in check here, but now I still don't have a follow-up check. Do I just want to threaten a check here? Because I don't want to go in there. Pretty sure. Nope, not that. Not there. For some reason, h5 was very important. Probably attacking that pawn that h7 couldn't do. So now they checked me. I'm going to move out of check, right? Some reason that made a difference, because when I didn't even try h2, but it accepted g2. That meant h2 was bad. All right. So now I move forward one more time, right? Or does it matter? Or do I go back? I think I go forward, but not there. So it must be h3. h3, it was very important for it to be h3. And this puzzle is still going. How many moves has that been? Okay. Then, nope, it wasn't blocking, so I have to go back. Nope. Wait, those are the only legal moves, right? Oh, I'm not in check. I'm not in check. Oh, okay. Well, I've gone over my time. This will be the last one that I did. This is from a rapid game between a 2600 player and a 2400 player whose account is now closed. I'm going to click the puzzle's ID number up there at the top, which will reload the puzzle from the beginning. And but now we're not in the theme of sacrifice anymore. Okay, well, I did guess the first move correctly, and I did guess the second move correctly, but I didn't anticipate that. I did say before I started that they would have moves before I got my queen over there, but I didn't expect that one. For some reason, there was something wrong about capturing, and there was something wrong about going right next to it. I had to go to the corner. I don't know why that was a huge deal. I also don't know why they moved directly into my coming check, but they did. And now I remember it was bad to take the bishop, but I don't know why. What I had to do here was check in the corner. And that was to get the, okay, I get that. That was to force them here so that when I took their bishop, it would be check. Okay. And then I needed to threaten this pawn on f7, but I couldn't threaten it from h7. I had to threaten it from h5 for some reason. We're going to look at the analysis board in just a second. Okay, then they checked me, and it made a huge difference which one of those two squares I went to. Those were my only two choices. I chose to go this way, I guess, just out of instinct to protect that pawn, and that mattered. And then here it mattered which way I went forward. I had to go there. Oh, the reason, okay, I get this one. The reason I had to go to h3 was because they can come here, and if I had gone to g3, they would have checked me. So I went to h3. They went there. I'm not in check. So now I can take this pawn, and that was the end of the puzzle. Look at how many moves that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 moves. I think we have a new record. I could be wrong, but I remember my last record being 9 moves in a puzzle. This was a 10-move puzzle. Okay. Analysis board. Going back to here. Okay. Wait, no, we need to go back one more. Was it even their best move to check me? It was their best move to check me. But why shouldn't I take? It says if I move next to the bishop or down here, if I move next to the bishop or capture it, we go back to drawn. But why? Why, if I take this? Okay, they can go down here. Woo! How about, I mean, like, let's say that they've decided that that was a good move, which none of my opponents ever would. Then, oh, that keeps me from going to h6. I get that, because they can check behind me, and when I get out of check, they would win my queen. Okay, I do get that one. But I don't think my opponent would see that at my 1300 level. I really don't. Okay. So that's why I can't go. But no, well, what about then? What about h2 then? It says that takes us back to drawn 2, because now they don't have to worry about this. Oh, but now their bishop can, their best move is to give away their bishop. That's what it says. Stockfish says their best, they have several drawing moves, but one of them is to give away the bishop. Okay, let's say they did that, and then I would take it, and then it would be even, and they would have to know that first. And they would move right into the path of the coming check, but now it's not my best move to check them. Now it's my best move to come over here but next to my king. What would be so bad if I checked them? That gives black a huge advantage, even though I got rid of their extra piece. Because they gave it away. I would check them in the corner, and black has a slight advantage, but then they would just come up. Okay, and then what? Oh, and then I would need to move my king. But why? They can't check me from there. Why do I need to move my king? I don't understand. Anything but that takes us to -3 or worse. Okay, so when they checked me, I had to know to go to the corner. For reasons that I still don't understand. Now, as I said, I did understand why it was not great to take the bishop because of the whole situation we went through, but it's not even good to just move beside it. So I had to know to move to the corner. And then their best move, actually, according to Stockfish, one of their 2 best moves is to move the king over. Their other was to bring their queen in here, which is what I suspected from the beginning, that they would try to offer this queen trade in order to get a passed pawn. But they did that. And this seemed highly obvious to me to go here because I'm forking these two pieces. And of course, I assumed they would move that way and not toward me, but okay, and now me capturing the bishop takes us to drawn again, somehow. And I can only assume it's because I've got this hanging pawn down here that's going to be easy for them to take out, and they have two passed pawns on the corner. But I'm going to be able to get this one before long, I think. Right? But yeah, if I take the bishop, it says it takes us to drawn, so I had to check in the corner. But why? What are they going to do if I take this bishop? They're going to check me. Okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, most of my opponents would probably do that. Okay, so let's say they checked me. And I would go here. Not sure why exactly. I would go to why it would. Okay, zeros either way. I think I probably would go there just to protect the pawn, but then they can check me multiple places now. I think most of the opponents I've known would probably choose this one because then they can pick off that pawn. It actually says that g5 is the best. Oh, because they can pick off my most advanced pawn. That makes sense too. Okay. But again, I think most people I've played would have probably chosen this check. And I would have gone up, I think. And most players I know at this point would have taken this pawn. But that would have given me mate in one. Oh, wow. Okay. There was a lot more to that puzzle, I think. But apparently at quite a few sections along the way, both players had only moves. Only one move that didn't give it all away, or only one move that maintained the advantage in my case. So that one probably merits some more study, but I don't have the time for that right now. Thank you for putting in the time for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.